This thing started. Okay, very good. And we have started. Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for replying to my messages on Slack that we had a lot of food this morning and showing up on time. Appreciate you very, very much. This is Dawn and Wendy. They're with Radical Title, and we're going to talk for a few minutes. So let's give the floor to them. And thank you for breakfast.
Thank you. I'm so glad that you guys like it. We started getting our stuff from Fort Worth Catering, and they're through Galligaskins, and I mean they're easy and it's great. So I'm glad that you enjoy it. So my name is Dawn Ostic. I am with the Cultural District Radican on Camp Bowie, right across from Bowie House. And I think if you haven't been to Bowie House, it's so amazing. We need to all have a happy hour or something there. That'd be fun. We have lots of classes coming up. I brought a flyer. We really are trying to push you guys to have us be your CE provider. We've really worked hard on making some really great classes and things that you are going to need. You're going to need ethics before the end of the year. You need, but we also want to throw in some fun stuff. And one of the fun things that we have coming up is a Christmas wrapping party. And in the past, it's kind of gone downhill a little bit. We're gonna admit to that. But this year, we're regrouping it. We're going to have vendors throughout the whole space of the Southwest office. We're going to have the Rockin' Ladies there, Santa, drinks and food, and it's just going to be a party. And so I hope that you guys can put that on your calendar for December 10th. And
you bring your gifts, and we provide all the wrapping paper and bow makers. And so you bring your gifts to wrap. So we have all the wrapping paper, and we have professional bow makers that are putting the bows on your gifts. So
right. Well, so the wrapping paper can do it that day, but then we also have the very next day where, you have the whole room. And so if you have just like a ton of gifts that you want to bring and, be just for a few people and wrap your stuff, then that's good too. So I did bring some of these. They're preparing your home to sell. I can make you up more. I didn't know if there was going to be any interest or how much. And we also have some buyers packets. And I think it'd be a great idea to maybe do a binding party with you guys, and you could have some of your things incorporated to some of these, and just make it a fun little time and get that done together. I also brought just because I'm a breast cancer survivor, and I'd like to just help one person because it was all from exploration, then I brought those. It's just near dear to my heart. Not to worry is breast cancer awareness month. So,
and then I'm Wendy Wright. I'm the escrow officer at the Cultural District office. So I work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, like y'all do. If y'all ever have a question, my cell number is on my card there. Please don't ever hesitate to call me. I'm always answering my phone, no matter what time of day or when it is. So, if there's anything we can do, we know y'all get random questions when you aren't showing. So if there's anything we can do. And also, if you have a listing appointment and you want a net sheet, send it over to me. My email's on there, and I'm happy to do a net sheet for you. So you look like you're that much more prepared going into your listing appointments. Or if you get multiple offers and the people want to see comparisons of what the different prices are based on different offers you get. So anything we can do to help you all to make your job easier, we're here for you. So just let us know what we can do to help you, and hopefully we'll see you at the closing table soon.
I don't know how many new agents are here, but we have been doing some mock closings at the office, and so we could get some agents together and do that. Maybe go to lunch afterwards or something. But if we haven't met for lunch or coffee, we'd love to do it. We'd love to get together, tell you more about us, and just what we have to offer. And, if you have any open houses that you want someone to come sit with you at, because that can be kind of scary, just call me. I'm always open. So, well, not always open, but I will do my best.
Yeah, be careful what you ask for.
Thank you so much for inviting us.
No, thank y'all for coming. Thank you for breakfast. I'll put Dawn and Wendy's information in Slack in the follow-up today, so you guys will have their information. It's here on the screen if you want it right now. Wendy, I didn't have your stuff. I had Dawn's.
Perfect.
So, but your card's there?
Yeah, my card's here, and my cell number's on there. So just make sure put that in your phone. Call me anytime. I'm always happy to answer questions.
When was the wrapping party? You said it's December 10th, and it's from 2. Ooh, did we say 3 to 7? I think it's 3 to 7. Okay, thank you.
Put that on your calendar. Thank you guys. Thank y'all so much.
Hope to see you.
Radicals.
Wait, do you guys have any cards? Because I do have a
Oh.
little giveaway.
Raffle. You brought your card. Yeah, I'll take it.
I think I have a card. You better.
Remember we did last time, you can use your credit card. I get to use it.
I don't have one.
Of course you don't.
Oh, I know.
All right, very good. Anybody else?
One more.
Anyone else? All right.
I'm gonna use this as mine.
Here, I'm gonna beat Antonio.
Okay.
Dawn. Okay.
If Antonio wins, it's Danielle.
The last one.
Okay.
Last one.
One more coming in.
One more coming in? Oh, Jan is coming in. Jenny, you want to be in the raffle?
Her nail lady does.
Oh. Okay. Sasha's coming in. Got one? Okay. Sasha's in. Okay. Who's doing it? No, I'm not doing it. These people think I play favorites anyway.
Excuse me. Ashley.
Yay.
Perfect.
And Dawn, I will give you guys a list of everybody in the office this afternoon and email, just our email addresses so that you'll have everybody's.
Okay, thank you so much.
It's a fair trade?
Yeah. Yeah, so this is kind of cute. Is it also, it's a donation. Conservation, so, and they're really cool. Okay, I've never heard of it.
Awesome. Thank you. Oh, no, I have stainless steel insulated bottle.
Thank you guys again, Dawn, Wendy. Appreciate you guys very much.
Thank you so much. We made it.
Okay, so today we're going to do something. I'm going to hit some high points, just a short presentation today of the things that I want to talk about. And then Jimmy is going to do, hopefully you all saw, we're going to do wins, losses, mistakes, and shout outs today. So discussion time, but Jimmy's going to lead that part of the discussion, which I'm thankful he's going to do. Our core value today is we position our clients as the heroes and strive to add value as their guides. Our job is to serve our clients and ultimately do what is in their best interest. Our interests are secondary to theirs, and we communicate in a way that places their needs and wants at the center. At the same time, we're always looking for ways to make someone's experience better and constantly add more value. We are never content with where we are at from a value perspective, but working to increasingly add to what we can offer and wow our clients. If anybody was in the certified full service professional class yesterday, this is what was focused on. And I felt like that it was a really good time because my coach is telling me some things that I'm going to share with you in just a minute. And this core value fits the time of year that we are in. This is October. October 1st was the beginning of 2025. Everything that you do now will come to fruition in 2025. If you're talking to people right now, they may not act before, well, the election, as we've all talked about, but we are going to see everything that the things that you do now will come to, I just said fruition, come to pass in 2025. So it's time for us to be busy. So let me hit the announcements and then we'll get into the slides. Next week, next Wednesday, no meeting at 10 o'clock. Okay, so no food, no meeting. Everybody take the day off. I'll be here at 11 for broker time. So if you want something done, that's fine. You can come in and ask stuff. And then we do still have 100 Days to Greatness at noon. Today at 11 broker time, somebody had asked me last week about how I do my Google Sheet weekly updates for my clients. If you want to see that, I'll do it at 11 o'clock, 11:10, something like that. It takes about 15 minutes for you to see how I do that. And it's just keeping my people constantly updated on comps, showing stats on Broker Bay and on showing time. And I run a Google Sheet that I share with them once a week so they have a fresh copy of it. But it's a week by week look, one page at a time. So wanted you to see that. Christmas sponsors, Holly.
Yes.
So we're waiting on a few people to get back with us if we have another sponsor. We would really like to just get that one last one just for last minute things. But we did pick up some good Christmas trees this weekend.
I did, I got it still. Jimmy made fun.
And what, Jimmy made fun of you?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Well,
go figure.
Yeah. Picture. There was a picture in the back. Yeah. Like what? I just need like.
does anybody have like the 3 trees?
Like a medium, small, and like
The
a.
whole tree? No, I have one tree.
But anyway, so yeah, we would like that one last sponsor if we can get it. But I mean, everything is pretty much done at this point as far as like planning. We're waiting on one hat lady to let us know if she can be a vendor. And then the Google form that Brian sent out.
It's next on my list.
Okay, well, I'll let you do that then. But no, I think we're good. As far as everything, just we get that one last sponsor. And it doesn't need to be a $500 sponsor, it just needs to be like a $250 sponsor.
Okay.
So, yep.
So Sunday night's email had a link to this Google form. If you want to take a picture, if you haven't filled the form out yet, you can get your camera and get that QR code. That'll take you to the form. It's just to know if you're coming to this extravaganza or not. If you're not coming, that's fine. If you've got something planned, family, whatever, we understand. But if you are coming, or if it's bringing clients, we need to know that. So we can plan food, drinks, all that stuff. So if you haven't filled that form out, please, everyone go fill that form out. People at home, you can snap it on your camera right now and grab that QR code. Maria Gonzalez is there, and I'm asking again, have you done your code of ethics training? I'm getting an email once a week from NAR telling me that everybody has to do it as the broker. So they're not kidding. Just to let you know that you will be suspended from NAR on January the 1st if you don't take the code of ethics. Okay. I scheduled, because of requests from people here in this office, we will have a 1 to 4 family contract class on November the 6th in this time slot at 10 o'clock. So it won't be an office meeting. We've got, sorry, just slipped my mind. McKnight's coming to do it, and one of their attorneys is coming to do the class. Well, he's going to do it virtually. So, but it's 1 to 4 family going through the contract, the stuff that's coming. So y'all please come for that thing or join virtually. I don't care if you join virtually, that's fine, on the 6th, but at 10 a.m. we'll start that class. So breakfast will be early. That's the one I told you about. So 9:30 for breakfast. So we've got time to eat before the class starts. Everybody needs to be in their seat at 10. The T47.1 is coming soon. I've got a piece of paper that I'm going to share with you in Slack today. Follow up to this. It's called the T47.1 Survey Declaration, as opposed to the affidavit. An affidavit has to be notarized. A declaration does not. That's coming November the 1st, but it's weird because they're saying it starts November the 1st, but they're not voting on it till the first week of November. Okay, whatever. It says it's effective November the 1st. Events coming up. We've got the Halloween costume contest next Thursday, which I'll hit in a second. But December the 7th is the holiday extravaganza, Christmas extravaganza here at the office, 11 to 1 with Santa Claus and a reindeer. And then our Jote's party where the drinks will be flowing. So you want to come and bring your margarita glasses.
Oh my gosh, they're margaritas.
They're good.
They're deadly.
Yeah. Well, and we're going to have, I'm hoping to get like a chocolate waterfall, but it'll be just margarita waterfall. Huh? I can just stand there and you just fill up and drink. Oh, don't drink it. No. This is like a locker room. No social media. No, I'm kidding. It's a joke. So next Thursday, Halloween costume. Yes, you will wear a costume if you're coming to the event. If you don't wear a costume, Jimmy has costumes for you, and you won't like them. So please wear a costume. Partner up, do team stuff, whatever you're going to do. Next Thursday, 11 o'clock here in the office. 6th Ave swag is still available. QR code is back there if you want to buy something. Starts with $20. They're cheap. Also will be in our Slack follow-up. Market update. So good news for new builds. Housing starts for single-family homes in September rose 2.7% over August to a 5-month high and are now up 5.5% the past year. Single-family building permits also ticked up for the month of September. Bright MLS, Bright is one of the big MLSs in the Northeast. Chief economist said the report shows home builders are optimistic for the months ahead. Indeed, home builder confidence posted its second straight monthly rise in October, breaking a 4-month streak of drops. Mortgage Bankers Association reported mortgage applications declined overall for the week ending October 11th, but the unadjusted purchase mortgage index is still 7% higher than the same week 1 year ago. Rates. Money talks. The economy may be heading for a hopefully soft landing. The Fed may slow the rate cutting, but decent Q3 corporate earnings started coming in and drove the Dow and the S&P to record highs. Have you noticed that when the stock market goes up, that mortgage rates kind of do the same thing? So there's some correlation there. Bond prices overall ended the week flat, with the 30-year UMBS 5% off, just 0.11 at $98.16 in Freddie Mac's primary. I'm sorry, that should have been down here. In the mortgage market survey, the national average 30-year fixed mortgage rate saw another small increase. So the rates went up slightly last week, which is not unusual because everybody's kind of waiting for after the election. So let's see what happens. Well, 40% of the people are waiting. Did you know that Realtor.com reported last week the median listing price was less than or equal to what it was the same week for the last year for the 20th week in a row? Let me read that again. The median listing price was less than or equal to what it was the same week last year for the 20th week in a row. Plus 18.6 of listings had price cuts in September, which that's up almost a full point from last year. The weekly forecast. So here's what's coming out this week. Home sales, jobless claims, and consumer sentiment. September existing home sales are forecast to come in slightly ahead of August, but new home sales are expected to dip a bit. Economists see weekly initial unemployment claims on the increase again. So those are the numbers that affect our mortgage rates. When the jobless, the unemployment claims go up, our rates tend to go up with them, just slightly. Let me see what's next. So here's what their Federal Reserve Watch was last week. It has not changed to this week. So they're still anticipating a 1/4 point cut in November. So what does that tell you? It's already starting to be baked into the rates because the mortgage people they're watching these numbers very closely. So if we get, and I think they said the Fed's meeting the first week of November, like right after the election. So they'll start baking those rates in this week and next. The 3rd. So it's, when's the election? 5th. So it's right around there. Yes, the Google invite to the Halloween party pushed to the 6th Ave calendar. Yes, it should be on your calendar as an invitation. If you declined it for any reason, then it doesn't show up and it just disappears off your calendar. If you need to be re-invited to the Halloween thing, consider yourself invited. Come up here at 11 o'clock next Thursday. Okay. So business tip of the week, look for the opportunity to provide something of value to others. Helpful information, extra service, a good business referral, without expecting anything in return. When you do this, people naturally want to reciprocate. What you give is what you get. This is going back to what I talked about when we started with the Certified Full Service Professional. And my next slide is going to delve into that a little bit better. So what's the difference between hospitality versus service? We talked about this yesterday in that class. Service is what we do. We give really good first-class service. Hospitality is above and beyond that. It's a step above. What does hospitality mean? It's about making someone feel special. In our class yesterday, they told this story. So everybody that was there, sorry to hear the story again. We were talking to a restaurant owner out of New York who had the #1 restaurant in the world at one point while he was running it. And he was at the restaurant, heard some people, and they had been to every fancy restaurant. They took a trip just to eat. They're foodies. So they went to all these great restaurants, and then they ended up at his restaurant, which is 11 Madison Park, I think so. 11 Madison. And so they're sitting there, and they're talking about all these restaurants that they were able to eat at. And they said, but you know, we never got a New York street hot dog, a New York City street hot dog. And so he immediately heard this, had somebody go out and buy a $2 hot dog, brought it in and made the chef fix that for these people. That is hospitality. They got, and he said that when they saw what they were getting for dessert, which was a hot dog with a dollop of mustard and ketchup. He said they cried. He said that it was that emotional for them because he had gone to the nth degree. That's what hospitality looks like. Lead generation is not about getting a lead. It's about a relationship. So ask yourself this question: can I find a need to help someone with? When you're calling your SOI, don't be fearful of what you're going to say. Ask questions and listen. There's a reason God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. That's the truth. Listen to what your people are telling you. You'll find a need to help with. By letting your client talk about themselves, you establish trust. It's inherent in humans. If they trust you enough to tell you their issues, they can trust you enough to allow you to help them. Always send a follow-up personal note after every call. Always. If you're making a phone call to someone, you're going to hear something that you can key on. I look on Facebook too. I look on Facebook and go, oh, they got a new dog. What a great idea to send a card about a dog. The rule of thumb is give, ask, receive. You're going to give someone value over and over and over. Give them hospitality. Find the need, find the niche. And my coach gave me this book. It's called The Go-Giver. It's on Amazon for $11. If you haven't read it, have you read it?
Several times.
Okay. So that's something that I wanted to share with you guys. That was it. Jimmy?
I also have The Go-Giver Sells More, which is a sequel to The Go-Giver.
Oh, thank you. The Go-Giver Sells More. Okay.
Brian, I was listening to the first 30 chapters of that book this morning on Audible, and he said, I like when he said, service is black and white, but hospitality is a rainbow of colors. So I thought that was a really cool, statement that he's kind of compared, and that's how he taught, I don't know if y'all know, but he's they ended up doing this big training just for people to send all their servers to, and it ended up being like CEOs of companies and real estate moguls and people showing up at his events. And he originally just started with teaching the service industry, the food service industry, how to the difference between hospitality and service. So I thought that was really cool difference.
Very good. Thank you for that.
There's another book that's similar to that called Unreasonable Hospitality.
That's the guy that wrote.
Good one.
That was the same guy we were talking about.
Yeah, that one, I've read that.
Okay. So Unreasonable Hospitality by what's his name?
William
Also the
Girard.
same guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was the restaurateur at 11 Madison Avenue. And then the Go-Givers. Well, I don't know where Jimmy is, so he'll come in a few minutes. So in the meantime, so Jimmy's idea was for us to do this as kind of a group, maybe not a game, but we want everybody to think about a win that you've had, a mistake you've made, a lesson you've learned, or a shout out to somebody else who you see doing something extraordinary or something above and beyond. And the floor is open. Where is something? Let's just start with
I'll give a shout out.
okay, let's give a shout out.
I just want to be me for a minute, but Danielle, if you want a badass at your open houses, she's your girl. She's so knowledgeable. She does really well with people on conversion. Just really impressive. How she really talks and crosses every T and dots every I. And I just really enjoyed her doing my open house. And I mean, she got me a buyer, even though the buyer didn't show up, and they're still asking her questions. And he did a ton on realty addendum and what's the refrigerator and things. But just really, I was really impressed to send her out, and the professionalism that she provided in the open house and the feedback that we got from it was just above and beyond.
Floor's yours. I started.
What did you say?
We're looking for wins, lessons, mistakes, and shout outs. And
Yeah.
Tasha wanted to lead with the first shout out for Danielle.
Oh man, good. I didn't miss much. Yeah, let's do it. Let's just do wins and shout outs. And then I want to talk about some lesson stuff. So that I've learned. Stick on wins and shout outs. Yeah. Or just wins. Yeah, like personal wins too. You can be like,
I've got a shout out to Nicole Huckabee. She
Okay.
put together a really cool teacher Popeye, Halloween Popeye thing at one of her kids' schools.
And they did a QR code and everything to go directly to her CRM, and she got her first person to actually, scan the QR code and register on her website.
That's
So that
cool.
was really huge for her.
That's great.
Yeah, I like that.
Good job, Nicole.
Thank you. It was exciting. I had to call Patty and Ashley and tell them I was too excited.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
I've had a couple of, just over the year, I had my first closing that came from social media. I've had like rentals that have come from it before. But earlier this year I had just a mutual friend reach out and be like, hey, I don't know if you have realtors. Can you help me with this? So she ended up buying in the Round Rock area, so like the Austin. And then also just I don't know how half the people are in the city, but because of, I guess, my social media presence, two of my like second cousins from Chicago have family or friends moving to DFW, and like I'm meeting with one of the couples this weekend, and the other one, like once they decide when they're going to come down, I mean, it's potentially 2 buyers that have come just from posting on social media.
Yeah.
And so I know probably some other folks, like see Kristen's on, she's probably got success stories of that as well. But I mean, it makes a difference.
I think she said she did get one from TikTok.
Yeah. I've had a rental client from TikTok, had a rental client from Instagram, and 2 buyers
Yeah.
that are coming from Facebook.
That's awesome. That's really awesome, Danielle.
Well, I want to give a shout out to Ray because he handled like literally 5 of my clients, 3 that were closing and 1 that is just something else out of this world. And one of my close friends that she was a little bit worried because I was leaving and her house went on the market and she doesn't have a house. So calmed her down. So
Oh
they were all
man.
happy.
Yeah. So he helped you out. Oh, that's awesome.
Good job, Ray.
Thank you, Ray, wherever you are at. Is he on?
No, he's not on
He's
today.
usually on.
I'm gonna
And
give a
Ray.
shout out.
Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead.
Ray is like also the king of response on the
Wow.
I'm like, Ray doesn't, he won't be here at this meeting, but dang, dude, he responds to every like hard question. I'm like, oh, I don't even know that. Ray's like, according to Trek, and I'm like, yo, man, Ray's killing it, man.
He's our ever-present all-knowing.
Yeah, exactly. Just real estate, spirit floating around.
Yes.
Answering everything. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I said I want to give a shout out to Holly because I'm working on a transaction that for me has been pretty hard, and I've asked her like probably called her 20 times, and every single time she either answers or texts me and like helps me out tremendously, no questions asked. So she's been very, very helpful. Yeah,
I'd like to give a shout out to Brian Wright, because every time that I have a question, I'm calling Brian. And he's always there for us. I mean, if you guys don't understand his knowledge of the appraisal world and real estate world, how they coagulate to one another, I love Brian, and I just think he's awesome. So
Yeah.
Can I piggyback
Yeah.
your comments?
Yeah.
So Brian Wright, he loves me because I'm like, hey, I have a project for you. Then I send him to all these crazy properties with all these insanely
unique characteristics.
yes.
Good way of saying
And
it.
he has become such an excellent, I hate to use this word about you, tool for me to sort of educate clients and really set some realistic expectations. And I mean, they really don't even listen to Brian or I, but I think in the back of their head, him going and walking the properties and talking about lender required repairs and financing issues and things like that, it just feels like I feel like he has my back, and it's like an extra layer of expertise. And so I feel like I really know that we have been very comprehensive and really been proactive to putting their homes on the market. It's sort of been this weird time. So I appreciate it.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah.
Glad you're with us. Wins and shout outs.
I guess I was just gonna say, like, with working with rentals, like I in the past, and I still do work a lot of rentals. And sometimes, you know, you can be like, I don't want to do this because you're not gonna make that much money, and you're kind of leading with that thought.
Yeah.
But it a lot of times has been so beneficial because a lot of times those renters have been my biggest like cheerleaders, and
Yes.
they'll tell their friends and their families, you've got to work with Rachel, and those people are buying. So just, I guess it's kind of a win, you know, just always treat people exactly the same, like treat a renter as how you would treat $1 million client, because they can in turn reap lots of business for you.
Yeah.
And even like just staying in touch with renters. Like I've had people that rented from me 2 years ago that I still do pop buys on. I still call them, and they, you know, are going to buy soon, or they have bought. And it's just another tip, just to really stay in touch with those renters and treat them exactly how you treat any other client.
And renters sometimes turn into buyers later on.
Definitely. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I want to say
That's
something
good.
about, I have so many shout outs to everybody. I love everyone that is in this group. So, I mean, if you've ever talked to me, thank you, because you don't talk to me. You're only
Shout out to
to everyone who talks to us, like Rayon, whatever
Slack.
that Slack. Like seriously, if we didn't have Slack, what in the world? That was the most genius plan to come up with. When I first came here, I was like, okay, no one's going to talk. And actually, people didn't used to talk on there as much, and then now it's such a great resource. We have such a great brokerage. I'm not trying to be a cheerleader. I have multiple things to say, so I'm going to be really quick. But Holly and Tasha do also answer my phone calls all the time, and so does Danielle. Like I will text them in the middle of at 11 p.m. Well, okay, Tasha will not answer texts. She will answer phone calls, so don't text Tasha. But Holly will answer the phone in the bathtub. I mean, and she's like, "Is it okay?" I'm like, "Phone with me, girl. I got
Too
stuff to
personal.
say." And that's happened before. A couple of times. Thank you to all of you.
every morning. Do your water running.
Exactly. So anyway, that's how we roll. Well, I wanted to say something. I don't want to shout out for myself, but I wanted to say something in case it helps another person. I had a client I met multiple years ago, and I helped her sell her family estate. Like a mom died. It was dilapidated property. I had to find an investor for it. It was kind of a crap show. I wasn't even in this brokerage, so it's even more of a crap show because I didn't have help. That's a long story. So anyway, I maintained contact with this person. She ended up getting maybe $125,000 cash out of the deal between the split with her other sibling, and she blew it all on stupid crap. And then she called me a year later. Like I mean, this has been 3 years ago. I maintained contact with her. She was a friend, a referral from a friend. So she's best friends with someone that I'm friends with. And she would never show me her house. But when I finally got back into like, hey, are you still wanting to buy? Like, what happened to your $125,000 you got? She goes, yeah, so I still have a mortgage. I bought two new vehicles on credit. So they had bad DTI and a bunch of stupid stuff. And I just kept working with them, and she would never show me her house. And I didn't know why. And it was because she was embarrassed. She was embarrassed to show me her property because she made enough money to buy a $500,000 house, but she lives in a property that was an investor special. Well, when she finally shows it to me, I didn't even know how bad it was until we started doing some needs a new roof, needs foundation repair. I mean, all the things. Well, so at one point, I finally get our house on the market. So just so you know, it ended up selling for $155,000 to an actual flipper, not an investor, because the investor wouldn't pay enough. So that's how, and it's going to flip for $250,000. So that's the kind of house I was dealing with. And at one point, the investor didn't have all the cash, had to get a hard money loan, and so it bumped out the closing. She says to me, Angela, is this really going to happen? Am I really going to be able to move into this $525,000 brand new home and get me out of Tarrant County into Parker County? And I said, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And then it did. 2 weeks later, we bumped it out. We bumped out the closing, and we were at the closing table, and she said, I just really can't still believe it. So I worked with her for years. And then I finally see her house, and I'm like, how am I ever going to sell that? And then I sold it. And the investor I sold it to is a a contractor I know, and he's gonna let me relist it whenever it flips. So, I mean, like so many things, all because I just kept on maintaining a relationship with this person that she felt like she would never be able to get out of the dump she lived in. And it happened. I mean, of course, they had to stay tuned in with me, but like even the builder, this is kind of a weird thing. The builder called them one time and said, if you haven't sold your house yet, we'll buy it and we'll flip it. We'll offer you this much money, but you have to do this and this. And they said, have you talked to my realtor? Like we're in contract with a builder. And he said, please call my realtor. I would love for you to buy my house. I don't know. Angela's the one who knows everything. Call her. They never once called me. And then they got mad that we didn't sell it to them for 160 with whatever. And I said, you know, you never called me and sent me an offer. So, I mean, it was kind of like some shady stuff was going on with the builder, but and they trusted me so much. They would never do anything without calling me. They would not even, like I said, would not even talk to the builder, wouldn't even entertain an offer. They were like, I don't know why you called me. Please call Angela. So just kind of like as a win for me, but also as an example of maintaining relationships with clients and they trust you, it pays off. Yeah.
It's good word. Good word. That's good.
I think I've done this shout out before, but I do want to just re-shout out Angela. Her and I guess 2 years ago, every week would go and just like for hours a day, we had our set days, and we'd go and sit down and just do dedicated work. And I was in the middle of having one of my better years, but Angela just switched to the brokerage. And it's just really awesome to see like you put the work in and see where you are now. I'm just really
Oh,
Yeah. Good stuff.
and she's always willing to do something with you. You ask her, she'll come on.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay. No matter how crazy. She's.
I want to shout out Jana. She's always willing to give a lending ear and give her encouragement and her advice. It's usually really, well, it's always really good. Not usually, it's always really great insight. So shout out to you, Jana.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Jana.
I'm just sitting here thinking about the conversations that I've had with like so many people over the last 2
We
months.
had our conversation the other day.
I mean, I can't, yes, I got my laundry done. I got my dishes done while I was talking to Tasha. I mean, you know, and we had great real estate fun. And Clarissa listened to me and I was venting big time and she just endured patiently. And nobody likes to hear complaints, but she stuck with me on it. And, you know, just the culture that we have here, you guys, is precious. I mean, I can't begin to tell you. Maybe you've experienced other brokerages. Maybe you've been in other scenarios. Maybe you have not. But this is a special thing. We need to protect it and cultivate it and stick with our core values and just, oh man, I can't tell you how much I appreciate that I can pick up the phone and call Patty. Patty can park herself at my kitchen island and we can have coffee and talk through that. Whatever it is, phone calls, whatever it is, just supporting one another, encouraging one another, so important.
Yeah.
To our business. Iron sharpens iron. So
How long have you been in real estate?
12 years.
See, I would have thought like 20.
Well, I look old enough to have been.
It seems like you, I don't know, just like you've been in real estate for a long time. Like
I
my
had-
ears always perk up when you talk about
Oh,
an
thank you.
instance that you've gone through. Yeah.
I had an exceptional mentor for about 3 years. And I'm telling you, she took the time to sit with us, teach us, and do the hard work with us. And I feel like I lived through her. So what we're doing is fast forwarding everyone. Anytime you can glean wisdom from somebody that's already done it, I don't care if they've been in it 5 years or 10 years, they've had an experience that they can share, will build your wisdom. You'll stick that in your back pocket and use it when you need it. But I did a lot of real estate other stuff.
We did sales too, which really helped.
I've been in
Yeah.
sales all my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So own my own businesses, did things like that. So yeah.
It's the ease. You have a calmness and an ease to you, like when you explain things, it's just, you know.
That's Jesus. Yeah. Hot mess. Don't worry.
That is a great thing. That's so good. That was so good. That's a good word.
I'll piggyback on Jana just a little bit.
I come from a background of 100% customer service. So I've been in the service industry since I was 15 years old. Restaurants and real estate, it's the only thing I know. But both of those industries being hospitality, what we were talking about earlier, it's just about making sure that you're going above and beyond for the people that are your clients, your customers, but more importantly, being there and being service oriented to the people that you work with, because that is the key to success. Came from a brokerage that did not really encourage that, as some of us in this room know. But, I've had business where I've been the leader and employer of 125 people, and now being a part of the you just have to be in an environment and in a culture where the people that you surround yourself with have the same desires, goals, aspirations, and vision of taking care of each other. And that's what 6th Avenue is about. And I am grateful that I found you guys, all of you. So, because coming from an old lady like me that's been around the block a little bit, here now. It doesn't matter your age or how long you've been doing something that you do, as long as you're passionate about it, and as long as you are surrounding yourself with people that are just as passionate and that are supportive and tolerant and like-minded, then you can do anything. You can move mountains, and you all just have to, we're stronger together. That's how it is. So thank you.
Yeah. That's good, Clarissa. I wanted to share a few things. But in real estate, there's very few, I guess there's very few industries like real estate, because you can work really hard and not have success. You put in so much work, and your expectation, I'll get to this in a second, is that you're going to close all these deals. And you put in all this work, you put in all this effort, and all of a sudden it's just nothing. It's cricket. No phone calls. Yeah, I know I'm going to get a bunch of thumbs up here on this. And yeah, exactly. And then all of a sudden you're not doing anything. You're kind of in this spiral of depression. I call it real estate depression, where it's just I can't close the deal. The business is horrible. And all of a sudden you get a phone call and you're like, oh, wait. Yeah. Exactly. Hold on. You haven't done anything. It's you're I'm taking a vacation, we'll be drinking Tuesday afternoon, and then all of a sudden that phone call hits right when you're not doing anything. And it is hysterical. That's the one industry I haven't felt like this in any other industry. In most businesses, you get to see and feel the results. Even in construction, you're hammering a nail into wood. You are seeing it. It's done. In real estate, you got a whole bunch of wall full of nails, and you got no wood hanging up. Somehow. So I feel just so with that said, I want to talk about and I said this at our alt or what do we call the quarterly pickleball. Yeah, what is that?
That's town hall.
Town hall. Yeah, thank you. I'm losing my words here. So there is a difference, and I think this alludes to our culture a little bit. There's a difference between having expectation and being expectant. And we want to be a culture of expectancy. And there's a difference there. Okay, so whenever you put an expectation on something, anytime, just literally the definition of the words, I could go into where they come rooted of expectant versus expectation. But expectation in itself, as soon as you put an expectation on something, you put ownership around it. So I have an expectation that I will drink this whole water bottle. At that moment, it becomes a thing that is final and it can never change, because my expectation is I'm going to drink this whole thing. I have an expectation that this deal will close and I will get paid off of this. And so that becomes this final thing that is really based on hard work for sure and like effort, but it's also based on a little bit of hope, a little bit of luck, and it's based on things that you can't control. But then what happens is you just put ownership on something that you can't own because you can't own the future. You're like, you just can't. Like, you can't own what deals are going to come your way. You can't own if the deal is going to close. You can't own if the your sorry, Dan, use yours. Like, your seller doesn't disclose and tell you there's a big freaking other payment I have. Like, you know, like you can't own that. Yeah, exactly. And so you can't. So with that said, if you can't own something, you can't or you shouldn't put an expectation on it. The only reason you put an expectation on it and now is you're going to be either surprised and delighted. That sometimes happens. You're like, I expect me to close 10 deals, and you close 20, and you're like, okay, great, that's awesome. Or you expect to close 10 and you haven't closed one. And either way, your thing that you wanted to own, that you have in your hand that you now own as expectation is now like this. It could be good, it could be bad, but it starts to you start to hold it and you can't hold it all. Like holding sand. And so that's a very different way of approaching business. There is a very different way. You can have expectations, which are different from goals. Let me just throw that out there. You should have goals, right? You should have, but the way you approach your goal is there not expectations. The way you should approach your business is not with expectations. It's through expectancy. Expectancy is something different. Expectancy is only built on what you can control and what you can hold in your hands. So whenever you work really hard and you call and you set, 2 hours, every 3 or 4 days of Danielle and Angel are doing, they are setting aside time for hard work, reaching out to all of your contacts. You're going for 3 years, or Angela, or however long that deal was. Rachel, following up with your renter, doing exactly what you're supposed to do for a long period of time, treating them like a millionaire client, even though they're renting a $1,000 apartment. But then, only then, can you be expectant that something will come, that something is about to happen, that this deal will close. But you're not holding it tight. You don't own it. You're holding it loose. You know that there's things that you can control and there's things that you can't. And the only way to fight that realtor death spiral, the real estate death spiral, the freaking economy, you can't control that. So the only way you really can combat that is to have an expectant mindset. And the only way to have an expectant mindset is to hold things loosely. I think trust in something higher than yourself, God, whatever. That's just another little side note. But is to hold your expectations loosely and be expectant, but then base them off of things you can control. Your hard work, your lessons you've learned. And then the last part of being expectant is you got to have teammates, community, or people around you. You cannot be expectant without a community of other people being expectant. You can't. It's impossible. You can't do it on your own. If you come here and you sit by yourself and you say, I'm really hoping that this is going to happen, or I'm really trying to be expectant, and you're just talking to yourself, it doesn't help. But whenever you come to this table or online and you hear stories of, I worked really hard, nothing happened, right? It's expectation. But I was expectant, and then something eventually did. You then can develop, it starts to snowball, right? Like that expectancy starts to snowball. Expectations never snowball. It's just over. It's done with. They're final. You own it, and then it's either good or bad. That's done. But having expectancy as a mindset, that can snowball off each other. But you have to have a few things. One is it has to be based on hard work. 2, it has to be based on your lessons learned. 3, I think, again, having it based on something that can control something that you can. And then 4, you got to have community around you. That's also expected. And so the reason that we do these things, like the reason that we're not talking about the economy today, the reason we're not talking about statistics today, is to create a culture of expectancy. Is to create a culture of, man, I didn't think this was going to happen, and it did, I worked really hard, and then all of a sudden this started to come. It's to fight that realtor depression. It's to fight that death spiral. And instead, not just fight it and bring you back up to even, but fight it and then snowball up and spiral up, right? That's why we do these things. It's to kind of continue that culture of expectancy. So that's really all I had there. Anybody have any other thoughts want to share, or along with that kind of same? We've just been doing it just like 20 minutes, so it's really, really good.
Absolutely. I would add to that when you're holding your hand open, you can give and receive.
Yep.
Very important concept with that. So you want to be able to bring in and let go and give out. And then the other thing that the principle behind all of that is sowing and reaping. And you're going to sow some seeds for a while. I mean, it's a 90-day game plan. You got to sow. Like you talked about on hospitality, what we learned about, give. And then ask whatever it is, but it's all the same principle of sowing. And if you've never planted and grown something in the dirt, you need to do it. Because there's so many principles in that in terms of reaping a harvest on the backside of it. So Bailey, you're sowing seeds, girl. You just keep at it, because there will be a harvest in that. And you don't know when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Probably about the time you're just kind of going, Lord, help me. I quit.
Yeah.
The phone rings and you're like, yes, I'm back in the game again. We've all seen those days. And so just hang in there.
And stay consistent.
Yes.
Like, with everything you do, it doesn't matter. I mean, nobody was just walked into real estate and was just given. I mean, I've never even gotten like a lead from family. Like, everything I've gotten. I mean, if I'm being honest, like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's from. Huh?
You don't want to use.
I know I may want to sell my mom's house, I think, but maybe I'll give it away. But it's just consistency and putting yourself out there, and always just letting people know you're in real estate, you're there. And I think it's just consistency. That is basically what it boils down to.
Well, I'll just add, like, probably something that I adopted, maybe certainly not all the way through my real estate career, but just having an abundant mindset. Like, and those that know me and know the business that I've done, I've had some pretty tough hills to climb and challenges, have certainly come my way where I've been defeated, where I've cried. I've basically cried a brine my entire career. If I was pregnant and crying or whatever, but I feel like the abundant mindset, and it's silly because a couple months ago I was telling Jimmy and Holly, I was like, I'm gonna get a T-shirt that says the 13%, and they're like, why? And I'm like, because 87% of this industry leaves, and they are defeated, and they don't have the mindset. And so much a part of being successful is getting up every day and realizing it's a brand new day. And it's funny because it's just the little things. And we were talking about it not too long ago in our one-on-one meetings, is just the little things, like, and you never get over it. Like you were saying, if you never get over it, it's like doing nothing, and the phone rings. You're like, oh my God, I'm back in the game. I mean, like 12 years in, like you still get where you're like, man, I can't catch a break. And it's that one phone call on Sunday night. It's like, hey, we're thinking about you. Like, thank you. So I really think having a positive mindset and really positioning your mind towards, you are going to be a business owner, and there's, going to be some very, very lucrative years and wins. And then there's going to be years that you obviously have some valleys, and it teaches you a lot about being a business owner.
Mm-hmm.
So in all of that, trust the process.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really, trust the process. And piggybacking off of yesterday with Phoenix, it does have, I don't know who told me, probably when we were at the Nystrom group. I know we all are contributors in society and we want to make money. But personally, I came into real estate to help. And so if we go with that intention, I think it's the go-giver, because I did listen to all 3 books, and I think the host was talking to a friend who said that his intentions were to make money, but he told them, well, that's not how this works. It's all about what we're able to offer and not expect anything in return. But we do if we do a good job at it indirectly.
Mhm.
like the law of attraction, right? Or like I believe in God, if we do good, then we should all be good.
Yeah, one of the principles with Go Giver is your income is determined by how many people you serve well.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
you just keep serving,
Mhm.
it'll come. And then one of my mindsets too within that is you can be really busy and accomplish nothing, or you can be really busy on the right things. And I always try to stay really close to the revenue line. Like that's what matters to me is this going to turn into something tangible? You know, we can do a lot of stuff in real estate that's kind of fluff, you know, and so what are you doing that's, you know, really staying close to the revenue line? Are you face to face with potential buyers? Are you face to face with potential sellers? Are you getting yourself out there and networking? So,
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll wrap it up for today. But again, you know, once a month, man, like I want to come with some lessons and stuff, but I want to come with just some, also just some stories of wins, of being expectant, of trusting the process, of, you know, didn't think it was going to work out or not, or come with, dude, I'm in that thriller or death spiral, like, and just the encouragement of like, okay, guess what? We've all been there, and you know what we're gonna do? Not double down. It's like you can't just like work quadruple hard. It's not like you can invent more hours, but just keep working, trust the process. It pays off, and we hear stories of that, and that builds on that expected mindset. So I really appreciate you guys. That was really encouraging to me just to hear. You guys said some really cool things. Oh yeah, sorry.
Kristen said, love the encouragement from everyone.
Yeah.
Nicole raised her hand.
Oh yeah.
Nicole, go ahead.
Sorry, guys. I didn't want to interrupt because I couldn't tell who's talking and who's not. But I know we're kind of wrapping it up. But I did want to do a shout out to my team. Patty and Ashley are absolutely wonderful. And as a new real estate agent, we were talking about the depression and downs of being an agent. And sometimes that really can like take a toll. So thank you guys for always being there. And then I wanted to tell Brian and Clarissa also, thank you guys for the 100 Days of Greatness. You guys are awesome for that, and I really appreciate it. I know all four of you are super busy, and you take your time to be there and help us and encourage us. So that was my shout out, but I just want to tell you guys thank you. We really do appreciate it.
nothing stays the same forever. It will change.
Yeah.
Everything's a phase. So just work through phase.
That's right. That's
It's
right.
true.
Thank you all for being with us today. Thank you for your words and your shout outs and wins. We will do this the fourth Wednesday of every month. We'll do wins, lessons, mistakes, and shout outs on the fourth Wednesday with Jimmy leading.
Yeah.
So the other 3 weeks you give me, sorry. Thank you. Bye.
Oh yeah.
I'll come for everybody else.